inside your eyes. Can you feel the rush? Closing the gap we made. Oh, how I miss your touch. Push through the ceiling now. We can raise it up. Am I dreaming? Come feel what I feel. Come see what I see. Drop your guard and let the night take over. Come feel what I feel. Come see what I see. Drop your guard and let the night take over.
All right, guys, we are live for day 5 of the Wisconsin versus Nicolae Miu case. So we are about to go live in the courtroom. I'll let you know there was a problem with the feed this morning, which is why we're going on so late. I was trying to figure it out. I normally like to go on a little later just to get through breaks, but they didn't have the feed up. So it just began in the middle. So I was trying to find a feed that had the entirety of what was going on. And it doesn't appear there is one. It appears there was an issue with the feed. So today we're going to be starting out the day with Spanish-speaking witnesses. So this is going to be, I think, in a way, almost a more honest group of people because they're not going to have been, the prosecutors will not be able to have influence them quite like they would English-speaking witnesses. They're going to be speaking through interpreters. They're not going to be able to imply things. So I think we're going to get a more honest perspective from these witnesses, but we will see. And then it's expected that once they conclude today, the case could conclude today or could conclude Monday for the state. So, and then it appears we're going to definitely be seeing Nicolae Miu testify next week. So the defense will start putting its case on, which the defense actually may put on some of its case today through the Spanish witnesses. So be on the lookout for that. So anyways, let's jump into the courtroom and get started.
Pero Ariel fue primero, perdón.
But Ariel was the first one.
And were they walking over to that area?
Sí.
Yes.
Nobody, and when I mean nobody, Ariel, Ernesto, and Sergio, they didn't run over to help Nick, right?
No, yo no vi ninguno correr.
No, I didn't see anybody running.
Did you see Nick in trouble, or did you just hear that he was in trouble?
Yo escuché que él estaba en problemas.
I heard that he was in trouble.
And I think you said that you saw Nick walking back toward your group. Is that right?
Yes.
And when he's walking back toward your group, you saw him kind of go over to the edge of the river bank. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And if you can tell us about how far away were you from that riverbank area that you saw Nick walk over to?
Era como de aquí a la puerta.
It was like from here to the door.
Lo que tiene el río de ancho.
The width of the river.
And when you saw him walk over to that area, I saw you make a motion with your hand, kind of like pushing it out in front of you. Is that fair?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. So and I think you said in your statement to police that you believe he was discarding something.
Él tiró algo, fue mi
He-
palabra.
Yeah, he threw something out there. That was what I said.
And when he threw, you don't know what he threw, is that right?
No, no sé.
No, I don't know.
But the way and manner in which he threw it was the manner that I'm showing you right now, kind of. And he moves his hand away from his body, kind of like that.
Correcto.
Correct.
Did you see Mr. Miu walk over after he discarded this object? Did you see him walk over to the object, or did he head back toward your group?
Se dirigió al grupo de nosotros.
He walked through the group to our group.
Okay. And I think you told police that when he walked back to your group, he appeared white and pale. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
He really wasn't talking. Is that right?
Él dijo que le quitaron la navaja.
He said they took away the knife.
Is that the only thing that he said to you?
Y que se iba a ir para los árboles atrás de nosotros.
And that he was going to go by the trees behind us.
Now, when you talked to the police, you never told the police that Mr. Miu was looking to go into the tree area. Is that true?
Cuando usted me dice que yo hablé con la policía, ¿fue cuando salimos del río o cuando ellos llegaron a mi casa a hablar conmigo?
When you say that I didn't say that when I talked to the police, are you talking about the time I talked to the police by the river, or when they went to see me at my home?
When they went to your home, they sat with you for a while and spoke to you. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And they were asking you questions about what you saw and what you heard, right?
Sí.
Yes.
They were asking you details about what Nick Miu did that day, right?
Ujú. Sí.
Yes.
And during this interview that you gave with police, you never mentioned to the police that Mr. Miu wanted to walk into the area by the trees.
Honestamente, no lo recuerdo en ese momento si yo lo dije.
I honestly don't remember if I said that at that moment.
So you don't have a recollection, a memory of whether you told that to the police or not. Is that fair?
No, no recuerdo.
No, I don't remember.
Had Nick previously that day gone into the woods to go to the bathroom?
No que yo viera.
No, I didn't see that.
You described to the police when Nick came back to your group, you described him as being looking scared. Is that fair?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you knew that Nick had a knife with him that day. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you knew he had the knife to cut the rope on the tubes. That's why he had brought it. Is that right?
Sí, cierto.
Yes, that's true.
Is it fair, you told your group, people in your group to call 911? Is that right?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Your group stayed at that location for some time. Is that true?
Sí,
Yes,
Did you see Nick? Nick didn't run up into the woods, true?
no,
no,
He sat in his tube, is that right?
sí.
yes.
How long do you think your group sat there before moving on?
No sé. No podría decir un tiempo.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, well, how much time we were there.
You had mentioned that you wanted to move where you were sitting in your tube. Is that true?
Sí,
And
Yes,
I think you mentioned to the police that you wanted to move in your tube because you were concerned or afraid of the situation. Is that right?
sí.
yes.
It wasn't anything that Nick had said or done to you that made you want to move, right?
No, nada de eso.
No, nothing like that.
Do you remember whether or not Nick Miu had his phone with him during that time?
No,
No,
Terrible question. You don't. Did he or did he not have his phone, or don't you remember?
no recuerdo. No tengo una memoria como específica de eso, muy vago.
I don't remember. I don't have a clear recollection of that in my memory. Yeah.
When Nick came back to the tubes, I think you said it became quiet.
Sí,
Yes.
No one was really talking.
no.
No.
Tatiana decía como, algo pasó, ¿qué habrá pasado?
May I ask for a repetition of the?
Solamente Tatiana decía, algo pasó, ¿qué será lo que ha pasado? Pero nada más.
Tatiana was the only one who said something happened, but nothing else. Something must have happened.
Did Nick appear? Nick appeared to be in shock to you, right?
Sí,
Yes.
When Nick came back to your tubes, did he just sit in the tube?
sí, que yo recuerde, sí.
Yes. As far as I remember, yes.
You didn't see him run away from the tubes and try to get away from you guys, is that right?
No.
No.
And you were with a gentleman, if you know, by the name of Eric. Is that right? He was with your group?
Sí, andaba un muchacho ahí, pero no lo conozco.
Yes, there was a guy there, but I didn't know him.
Is it okay? Ms. Costanza, do you remember seeing this gentleman
Sí,
with your group?
Yes.
sí.
Yes.
And that's Eric Von Williams. I don't know if you know his name.
Sí, recuerdo el nombre cuando me lo presentaron.
Yes, I remember the name when they introduced us.
And Mr. Von Williams went over to at least try to render aid or help. Is that right? Do you remember that?
No, yo no vi el momento que él caminó hacia, no sé. Si
I didn't see him walking at that. I didn't see when he was walking.
Did you see the number of people that were in the other groups?
eran varias personas, pero no puse atención cuántas eran.
There were several people there, but I didn't pay attention on the number of people.
But you believe that Nick was the only member of your group from over there, right?
Sí.
Yes.
I don't even have other questions.
Mr. Anderson, do you have more questions?
Yes. Only one who saw Nick throw something?
Nunca he hablado con los del grupo de esto. No sé si ellos miraron.
I never talked to the group about that. I don't know if they saw that.
Did you know that was important information to tell police?
Bueno, sí.
Well, yes.
When Nick came back, do you know if the look was shock or fear or something else?
Como en shock.
Like in shock?
And when you're leaving, you specifically did not want to sit by Nicolai because you were afraid to sit close to him, right?
Sí.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Mr. Trofficy?
You didn't know what happened. Is that fair?
No.
No.
So you weren't afraid to sit next to him because of anything he had done, correct?
No.
No.
You were afraid in part because of the look on his face, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
The shock that he had on his face concerned you, right?
Sí.
Yes.
That's the reason that you didn't want to sit next to him, right?
Podría decir que sí.
You could say that, yes.
That's all I have. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Costanza. You may step down. Is she released?
No.
Would someone please collect the headset? How is everyone doing? Does anybody need a break? Let's continue then. Mr. Anderson, who is the next witness?
Can I have 1 minute, Judge?
Yes.
Actually, could we? He calls Elba Torres.
Ms. Torres, please raise your right hand. The clerk will administer the oath.
You swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Alba Rosa Torres. Alba Rosa Torres.
And can you, Elba, were you tubing with Nicolai on July 30, 2022?
Sí. Yes.
And I want to direct your attention to about the time the phone was lost, if you remember that.
Sí. Yes.
Sometime after the phone was lost, was there some sort of disturbance?
¿Puede repetir, por favor? Can you repeat that, please?
Sometime after the phone was lost, was there some sort of commotion or disturbance?
Sí. Yes.
What do you remember about that?
No. No mucho. Porque no vi. Not much because I didn't see.
You didn't see anything about what happened downriver?
Ya había pasado todo. Everything had already happened.
So you just weren't looking in that direction?
No. No.
Do you remember hearing screaming or seeing people with bloody injuries at all?
Alguien me dijo que llamara 911, nada más, que estaba pasando algo. Somebody told me to call 911. That's it. They said something was going on.
And Alba, I forgot to ask, did you know Nicolai before that day on the river?
Sí. Yes.
How long had you known him?
Como 5 o 6 años. About 5 or 6 years.
Were you friends?
Sí. Yes.
So after, did you say Tatiana told you to call 911?
Sí. Yes.
After that, did a person from your group leave to go help with the injured?
Sí. Yes.
And do you remember who that was?
Eric. Eric.
And was the reason your group didn't leave sooner because Eric was away helping with the victims?
Nope.
No.
You told police, you remember telling the police about how you're impressed with how Eric responded to the situation?
No.
No.
Do you remember anything you told law enforcement about Eric and
Solo que había salido a ayudar.
Only that he had gone there to help.
do you remember telling law enforcement that your group called Eric back to your group so you could leave?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that that man conducted himself very well, and that's why we were waiting so long until the police came?
Sí.
Yes.
Because he was away from your group, so you had to wait for him to come back, right?
Sí.
Yes.
Sorry.
And was, when you saw people who were injured, were you wondering or trying to figure out who did it? Who was the person who caused those injuries?
No sabía, pero sí.
I didn't know, but yes.
And when you eventually left from the sandbar, Nicolai was wearing his hat, sunglasses, and jacket, right?
Cuando estábamos tubo,
When we were tubing,
Yes.
su chaqueta,
his jacket.
pero no recuerdo si los lentes. Yo no recuerdo si lentes.
But I don't remember if he was wearing sunglasses.
What about a hat?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
And when you spoke with law enforcement, you gave them a video you took after you left the sandbar. Do you remember that?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, use your laptop. May I approach?
Yes.
This is Exhibit 85, Judge. I'm just going to show it to Elba.
Attorney Anderson, you don't have to lay foundation.
Gotcha. Okay. I just asked to move to admit 85, asked to publish.
Any objection to 85?
No, sir.
Received. You may publish.
something like hammer in his hand.
Take a picture and save it.
I don't take a picture, take a video. I take a video. Look,
Just take whatever.
look what he has in his hand. Look. Emmy, get out there. Look. Tell you. He have something in his hand. Emmy.
Just take a video, just take a picture, take whatever.
Yeah.
If it's anything,
Take a video.
just take a picture, take a video, take whatever. We don't know if it's anything to do with anything, but just take it.
Se cayeron, man.
Just take.
So,
I try.
over there. Everybody put your ass out.
Ernesto,
And
mueve
now-
para allá.
¿Eh?
Mueve para allá.
No, pero donde quiera va a estar roca, lo que levanten el culo y
Escúchame.
aguanten la balsa.
Escúchame.
You gotta go over the rapids.
Para allá.
But just take video.
He waiting for something.
Just take a video.
I know. I try, but maybe I can't. Porque él estaba viniendo desde allá con una cosa en la mano, un martillo.
Hold your phone. We're going over the rapids. Over the rapids.
And he waiting.
Avanza y
Oh, but that was a video you took after you left the sandbar when you were going to the exit, right?
Sí. Yes.
And in the beginning of the video, was that Nick that you see paddling with his hand? Do you remember, or do you need to see it again?
Vi que iban ahí, pero yo estaba pendiente a lo que estaba haciendo.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Just a moment. The interpreter needs a repetition. Repite, por favor.
Que sí, estaba con nosotros ahí, pero yo estaba tomando mi video porque estaba asustada.
I saw that he was there. He was there with us, but I was taking the video because I was scared.
Were you scared because you didn't know where the person was that had hurt those people?
Sí.
Yes.
And you thought maybe the guy who did it?
Sí.
Yes.
Did it turn out to be an employee of the tubing company?
No sé.
I don't know.
Do you remember telling law enforcement that it turned out it was an employee of the tubing company?
Yo no recuerdo.
I don't remember.
And do you remember telling police that you were wrong, that it was a hammer, that was because you're poor English, used the wrong word?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember what was in his hand?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Pero algo tenía.
But he had something.
Was it maybe a radio, or couldn't you see?
Ay, yo no sé, no recuerdo.
I don't know. I don't remember.
And was it, did you hear in the video somebody saying in English, "You're almost there"?
No.
No.
When do you recall telling law enforcement that when Nick came back to the group, he appeared calm?
Yo lo vi normal. I saw him just normal.
And that was the time that you remember seeing blood everywhere and injured people?
No vi a nadie lastimado, solo de lejos vi que algo pasaba.
I didn't see anybody injured. I only saw that something was going on far away.
And Nick, when you saw Nick, you described him as being calm.
Yo lo vi normal,
I saw him normal.
todos asustados.
We were all scared.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Shropshire?
Alba, you and your group were tubing with Nick and his wife on the Apple River that day. Is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And do you remember your group stopping at the Hideaway Bar before all of this happened? Do you remember that?
¿Me puede repetir, por favor?
Can you please repeat the question?
Do you remember your group stopping?
Sí.
And
Yes.
prior to anything that happened with the other group?
Antes.
Before?
Yes.
Correcto.
Correct.
And when your group had stopped earlier in the afternoon, Nick was snorkeling around the area. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And when your group is, does there come a point where Ariel loses his phone?
No, en ese momento no.
No, not at that moment, no.
Is there some point later on the trip where Ariel loses his phone?
Sí.
Yes.
And you know that Nick, because he has a snorkel and goggles, offers to go look for that phone. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
So Nick leaves your group and goes away looking for the phone. Is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
Your group waits for Nick. Is that true?
Correcto.
Correct.
To your knowledge, is Nick by himself, meaning nobody else from your group goes with Nick?
Solo, creo.
By himself, yes.
And I think that you talked, when you spoke to the police, you mentioned that you saw this other group of people pushing Nick. Is that right?
No.
No.
Es que no vi.
It's because I didn't see.
Okay. Do you hear Nick's wife say that Nick's in trouble?
Correcto.
Correct.
And when his wife says Nick's in trouble, do you look to see how Nick's in trouble?
En ese momento no, porque yo estaba de espalda.
Not at that moment because my back was facing that direction.
Yeah.
Do you turn around to see what's happening?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you see anyone else in your group respond when Mr. Miu's wife says Nick's in trouble?
Mi hermano. My brother. Mm-hmm.
And what's your brother's name?
Ernesto. Ernesto.
So you see Ernesto respond. How do you see him respond?
Yo le dije, ve a ver qué pasa. I told him, go see what's going on.
And to your knowledge, does Ernesto listen to you and do that?
Yeah. Yep.
To your knowledge, does Ernesto walk over there or does he run over there? How does he get over there?
Solo vi que salió caminando y ya casi en ese momento regresaba Nick. I just saw him walking over in that direction, and almost at that moment, Nick was coming back.
Do you see Nick walking back to your group?
Yeah. Yep.
And when Nick comes back to your group, he tells you that he'd been attacked, right?
Yo pregunté. I asked.
Okay. You asked what happened, and he told you that he'd been attacked, right?
Estaban puchando, esa fue su palabra. They were pushing. That was the word that he used.
Okay. Do you remember telling the police that Nick said five people attacked him?
Yo no recuerdo. I don't remember.
What you do remember is him telling you they were pushing him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you described him as calm. Was he quiet?
Callado. Quiet.
Did he appear to be in shock to you?
Can you repeat?
Did he appear to be in shock to you?
Yo? You're talking about me?
No, well, first I'm talking about Nick.
Oh.
What did you see Nick doing? How was he behaving?
Callado. Quiet.
Do you know have you ever seen someone in shock before?
No. No.
Did he appear to be, was he angry or upset?
No. No.
So he tells you that he'd been pushed. Is that all he says to you about what had happened?
Correcto. Correct.
You described you being in shock to the police. Is that right?
Claro, todos. Of course, all of us.
Okay. And can I ask you, at that point, why did you feel the way you felt?
Porque no sabíamos qué estaba pasando, no sabíamos que tantas cosas, no sabíamos nada. Because we didn't know what was going on, we didn't know many things, we didn't know anything. Estábamos súper lejos nosotros. We were really far away.
At that point, when Nick walked back to your tubes, were you in fear of the situation?
Y sin él estar también, porque estábamos todos asustados.
And also when he wasn't there, because we were all scared.
When you say we were all scared, did Nick appear to be scared to you?
No le presté atención a él.
I didn't pay attention to Nick.
Did your group stayed there for some period of time after Nick came back to the tube, is that right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And do you remember about how long you were there?
No recuerdo, pero
Ah.
mucho. Pero,
I don't remember, but it was for a long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't see Nick attempt to run away from you guys, like up into the woods or anything, did you?
No,
No.
He just sat on his tube, is that right?
correcto.
Correct.
When your group headed back down the river after Nick came back, were there already police there?
Oh, ya había pasado todo prácticamente.
Oh, everything had already happened, basically.
Did your group have any contact with police at all when you were on the river?
Llamamos al 911 nomás.
We just called 911.
Tatiana.
Tatiana did.
And was that the only contact that you guys had with police or law enforcement of any kind while you were on the river?
Correcto.
Correct.
On that day, do you remember seeing Nick with sunglasses on at some points?
Yo no recuerdo.
I don't remember.
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
Yep.
I'm going to show you exhibit 12A. Are you in this picture?
Yep.
Oh, sí.
You're right there with the pink shoes on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see Mr. Miu in that picture?
Yeah.
Yep.
If I said he's wearing sunglasses, would you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes.
If I said he's wearing the shirt that he was wearing later on, would you agree with me?
Sí.
Yes.
So if I asked you at various points during that trip, were there times that he was wearing the things you see in this picture?
¿Puedes repetir?
Can you repeat the question?
If I asked you at various points on your trip that day, were there times that he was wearing sunglasses?
Sí.
Yes.
Are there times that he was wearing this shirt?
Sí.
Yes.
Ahí estoy.
Do you need help with the device?
Let's just,
Ay, un momento.
Can somebody,
Ya, perfecto. Sí, gracias. Ok, gracias.
thank you.
I don't have any other questions for you, ma'am. Thank you for your time today.
Mr. Anderson, do you have more questions?
One question. Alba, did you ever hear Nick say he wanted to leave and go into the woods, but Ernesto's told him to stay with the group?
No.
Okay. Nothing else.
Mr. Robson? Thank you, Ms. Torres. The testimony is finished.
Gracias. Thank you.
It's almost 9:30. Let's take our morning recess. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. All rise for the jury. We will return at 9:40. We're in recess.
Two hearts inside your eyes. Can you feel the rush? Closing the gap we made. Oh, how I miss your touch. Push through the ceiling now. We can raise it up. Am I?
You can answer out loud, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson.
Can you please state your name?
Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leiva.
And can you
Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leiva. Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leiva.
can you
Wait for interpretation.
Sergio Liuban Ruiz Leiva.
can you spell your middle name?
Liuvan.
Liuvan.
Sergio, were you tubing with a group of people including Nicolai on July 30, 2022?
Yes.
Are you on that image somewhere?
Sí.
Yes.
Where?
Del chor amarillo.
I have the yellow shorts.
And white shirt and white bucket hat?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember a time when you were tubing when Ariel's phone got lost?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you remember a discussion about looking for the phone or just leaving it?
¿Puedes repetir, por favor? Sí, En un momento decidieron de que no se iba a buscar el teléfono, que no querían porque la aseguranza iba a pagar el teléfono.
Yes, and at that point, at some point, they decided they didn't have to look for the phone because the insurance would pay for the phone.
Did Nicolai go look for the phone?
Sí.
Yes.
After do you remember how long? Strike that. At some point after he went to look for the phone, did you hear Sandy yell something about he's in trouble?
No.
No.
Did something catch your attention downriver?
Bueno, el grupo de personas.
Well, there was a group of people there.
And what about it caught your attention?
Alrededor de Nick.
They were around Nick.
Was there a time you saw Nick down in the water?
No, porque es que había muchas personas. Estaba muy grande el grupo.
No, because there were many people. It was a large group.
Did you ever remember seeing Nick interacting with a blonde girl?
No.
No.
Can we have exhibit 45? Sergio, do you remember telling
¿Recuerdas?
police there was a girl, if I'm not mistaken, with a black leotard?
Sí.
Yes.
Who said, "Go, go, go, go" to Nick?
Yo la vi cuando ella estaba en el grupo, que estaba en el grupo alrededor, porque era la que más se distinguía entre ellos por el color del leotar negro.
I saw her when she was around that group because she was easier to identify because of the black leotard.
Pero en sí estaba bien un poco alejado del grupo, del grupo porque no me moví de mi recámara.
But I was far away from that group. I just didn't move from my inner tube.
And do you remember telling police that Nick pushed her?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember that.
Can I approach?
Yes.
For the record,
Yeah.
Judge, I handed the witness Exhibit 45 on page 15. Sergio, do you see this transcript?
Sí.
Yes.
And about the middle of the page, do you see where you said the woman yelled, "Go, go, go," and then Nick goes and pushes her?
Sí.
Yes. Yes.
And you were far away, you said?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to pull up some screenshots or frames. I'm going to start with 2872. I'll let you know. I'll let the clerk know when we're ready. And we're going to zoom in on the top left. Sergio, is that you in the top left?
Yes.
And if you know, is that about where you were when you were watching what was happening?
Yo estaba al lado de mi recámara, de la goma.
I was right by my inner tube.
Do you remember telling police that you walked about 5 meters from your group and then someone told you to stop?
Mi hermana me dijo que no me moviera. Cuando me iba a mover, mi hermana me dijo que no me moviera hacia allá abajo, que no fuera. Por eso me regresé a mi recámara.
When I was going to move, my sister told me not to move. That she said, "Don't go to the other side." Just and that's why I returned to my inner tube.
Do you remember? Did you see the girl in the blonde girl in the black swimsuit? Did you see her fall or stumble backwards when Nick pushed her?
No recuerdo.
No, I don't remember.
And did you actually see if it was a push or a punch?
Objection has been asked and answered.
Sustained.
Well, can we approach?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'll change my ruling. May I ask the question?
Do you remember if it was actually a push or if it was a punch or something else that Nick did to the blonde woman?
No recuerdo.
No, I don't remember that.
And Sergio, do you see on page 15? I'll direct you. So I asked you about the paragraph on the middle. Remember that?
Sí.
Now, the next paragraph where you're describing what happened, do you see that?
Sí.
Yes.
And you said, you described that it was after Nick got out of the water, and that's when the girl said, "Go, go, go," and he pushed her. Do you see that?
No, sí.
Oh, yes.
And then below that, you reiterate that it was after she said, "Go, go, go, go," that Nick pushed her. Do you see that?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you turn to page 16? On page 16, you described that she was wearing a black leotard, and you clarified that that was a black one-piece swimsuit.
Sí.
Yes.
And then you, further down, you describe again seeing her, hearing her say, go, 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 and he pushed her. You see that?
Sí.
Yes.
And from your memory, when you're telling this to police, you thought that was the last thing that happened, and then Nick walked back to your group.
Sí.
Yes.
And you thought he was down in the water before the girl said, go, 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 and he pushed her. Right?
Yes.
And Sergio, have you ever seen the video from this incident?
No.
So you were trying to recount what happened to the police as best you could remember?
Sí.
Yes.
Sí, en el momento.
Yes, at that time.
Did it happen fast?
Yep.
Yep.
Was it difficult to remember in what order things happened?
Que lo que yo recuerdo fue que en el momento que se perdió el teléfono, Rosy se puso en una esquina a buscar el móvil en la orilla.
What I remember is that at the moment when we lost the telephone, Rosie started looking for the phone by the edge of the river.
Y yo me quedé ahí en la balsa, lo cual le decían de que dejara el teléfono, que ya la aseguranza lo pagaba.
Yeah, I stayed there because they were talking about it and they said, just leave it, the insurance will pay for it.
Y ya no recuerdo más nada cuando el compañero Nick cogió el snorkel y se tiró a bucear, a buscar el teléfono.
And I don't remember anything else except that Nick took the snorkel and started diving in there to look for the phone.
Y ya me fui. Entonces cuando miro hacia abajo, ya veo el grupo de personas.
And then I left. And then that's when I saw on the other side the group of people.
Ya, más nada, eso es lo que recuerdo de eso.
That's what I remember.
So you may have forgotten a lot of what you remembered then.
¿Puedes repetir, por favor?
Can you repeat that, please?
You can see the transcript where you describe seeing more to law enforcement.
No, yo no había visto, yo no vi, yo solamente escuché.
I didn't see. I just heard things.
But you can see in the transcript you told police multiple times that when she yelled, go, 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 Nick pushed her.
Objection, Estimate.
Bueno, porque se sentía que era la voz de una persona, de una mujer, pero no estoy seguro si fue ella o no.
Because I heard the voice of a woman. I am not sure if it was her.
You described her as a blonde woman in a black one-piece swimsuit.
Sí.
Yes.
Sí, lo veo aquí.
And I see it here, yeah.
And when you described seeing Nick down in the water, you described that you believed they must have hit him, or you thought they must have hit him because he was down in the water. Do you remember that? Or did you say that to law enforcement?
No. I didn't. I never said that.
No.
No.
Do you remember ever seeing anyone hit Nick?
No.
When Nick came back, did Nick come back to the group at some point?
Yes.
And as he was coming back, did you see people that were injured?
Sí.
Yes, I saw them. Yes.
Did you see blood?
Bueno, en el lugar que yo estaba, yo solamente veía la mano de la muchachita y sí, tenía como sangre ahí, pero no se distinguía bien.
From the place where I was, I could see the girl with her hand over here, and you could see blood, yes. But you couldn't distinguish it that clearly.
Porque era la que le estaba pidiendo ayuda, a que decía que llamaran al 911, que estaba pidiendo ayuda a mi hermana.
She was the one asking for help to call 911. She was asking my sister to
Y en ese momento
call.
me volteé y ya no miré, no quise mirar más.
And I didn't want to continue looking. I just turned around.
Turned away from the injured person you saw?
Para no ver nada de sangre.
So I didn't see any of those things. Yes.
Just a moment, Your Honor. Señora, acérquese al micrófono usted para no ver nada de...
Para no ver nada de lo que estaba pasando.
So that I didn't see what was happening.
¿Puede acercar el micrófono a usted?
So it was something that was hard to watch or see.
Era algo difícil de ver. ¿Será difícil ver eso?
Sí.
Yes.
When Nick came back, did you hear him say anything?
No.
No.
Did you hear him say they took my knife?
Neti le preguntó y eso le dijo y yo le pregunté a Neti que qué había dicho y dije que sí, que fue eso lo que dijo.
Nettie asked him, and I did ask what he said. She said. Can you?
Que Neti le preguntó que qué había sucedido y entonces él dijo que le habían quitado la navaja.
Nettie asked him what happened, and he said that they had taken the knife away.
Y yo le pregunté a Neti qué dijo Nick.
And then I asked Nettie, what did Nick say?
Y me dijo que le habían quitado la navaja y ya no se habló más nada en el.
And she said that they had taken away his knife, and we didn't talk about it anymore.
Did you see Nick saying anything or hear him talking anymore after that?
No.
No.
What was Nick like? What did he look like? How was he acting?
Vino pálido cuando se acercó a nosotros.
He looked pale when he got close to us.
Y con los ojos grandes.
And his eyes wide open.
Y se sentó y ya no habló más nada.
He just sat there and he didn't talk anymore.
Do you remember when he came back and got back to your group, him putting on his hat and jacket?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you remember telling police you didn't look at Nick too much because you didn't dare to look at him?
Porque no me atreví, estaba en la parte de atrás de la de la recámara.
I didn't dare, but he was also in the back of the inner tube.
Yo.
I was in the back.
So can you turn to page 21? Can I approach?
Yes.
I got it.
Sí.
Do you see where you said?
Yes.
I didn't look at him because the truth is I didn't dare to look at him.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember how long you guys stayed at the sandbar?
No.
No. I don't remember that.
El tiempo no lo recuerdo.
I don't remember the time.
Do you remember seeing police come?
Sé que Eric fue a buscarla porque Eric fue a buscarla.
I know that Eric went looking for them. Eric went to
A la policía a guiarlo.
Eric went to look for the police and guide them.
After Eric came back to your group, did your group leave?
Sí.
Yes.
What do you remember of the time when you guys were tubing to the exit?
¿Puedes repetir, por favor?
Can you repeat that, please?
Can you describe what it was like, what you remember from tubing to the exit?
Compañero Nick se puso la gorra, la chaqueta y ya no se habló más nada. No se habló nada.
Nick put on his hat and then his jacket, and we didn't talk about anything else.
Y ya no se habló más nada porque estaba todo el mundo callado.
Nobody talked. Everyone was quiet.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Trophy?
Sir, do you remember giving an interview to the police on August 3rd of 2022?
Sí, ellos fueron a mi casa.
Yes, they went to my home.
And was your memory of what happened better in August of 2022, or is it better today?
Bueno, antes estaba mejor. Yo estoy muy nervioso.
Well, it was better back then. I'm very nervous now.
Okay, so when you spoke to the police on August 3rd, about 5 days or 4 days after this happened, fair to say your memory is better of those events than it is right now.
Sí.
Yes.
And when you were interviewed by the police, there was a Spanish-speaking officer that was talking to you, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you tried to answer that officer's questions as truthfully as possible. Is that right?
Sí,
Yes.
And you said that was at your house?
sí,
Yes.
Was it less stressful than it is here today?
sí,
Yes.
And that officer had asked you questions about what happened on July 30th of 2022.
sí.
Yes.
I want to ask you, if I can, about that date and maybe some of the things you answered when you were speaking to the officer, okay?
Sí.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with this. You knew that Nick Miu had a knife with him that day because you saw him fixing his shoe or his sandal. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
So before any of this incident happened, he had been using that knife to fix something, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you knew that Mr. Miu or Nick was looking for a phone that your group had lost. Is that true?
Sí.
Yes.
And you also knew that Nick, on that day, Mr. Miu, was with your group, and your group included his wife. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you look at that picture right there, sir?
Mhm.
You had mentioned you're in this picture, correct? Is it okay, Judge, if I approach?
Yes.
Sí. Sí.
And you see Mr. Miu here?
Yes.
¿Cómo?
You see Mr. Miu here?
Sí.
Yes.
This is the shirt that he's got on is the same shirt you saw him wearing at the end of the day, right?
Sí.
And this is
Yes.
and this picture is taken before you guys head down the river. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And he's wearing sunglasses in this picture, right?
Sí.
Yes.
So, is it fair to say that when he got off the river, he looked the same or close to the same as he did when he got on the river?
Sí.
Now,
Yes.
you know that Nick is looking for this phone that had been lost. That was Ariel's phone, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you were also aware that he had brought snorkeling gear and goggles with him on that day. Is that true?
Sí.
Yes.
You had seen him on that day snorkeling around the areas where you guys were tubing. Is that right?
Sí, al principio, sí, en la mañana.
Yes. At the beginning, that was the case in the morning.
And when you speak to the officer about the specific incident, meaning what had happened, you recall telling that officer that you saw a group of people surrounding Nick.
Repite la pregunta, por favor.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. You told the officer on August 3rd of 2022, when you were being asked about what you remember, that you had remembered that they were surrounding Nick.
Sí.
Yes.
You told this officer that they were falling on him. Is that right?
Your Honor, the interpreter needs a repetition.
I'm sorry.
The interpreter needs a repetition.
You told the officer that you observed those people falling on him. Is that right?
Sí, cuando lo empujaron.
Yes, when they pushed him.
You told the officers that they put Nick in the middle of them. Is that right?
Sí, lo tenían ahí. No sé, el bulto de gente. Y se veía que estaba adentro el compañero.
Yes, they had him there. It was a group of people, and you could see that they had compañero, my friend there.
Could you see Nick with the group around him? Could you see him?
¿Y usted lo-
No, no lo podía ver. Solamente el grupo. El grupo.
No, I couldn't see him. I could just see the group.
Claro, ya. Sí, solo el grupo.
Just the group.
You told the police that they hit him, meaning they hit Nick. Is that right?
Sí, cuando lo empujaron al principio, que él se acercó, que nos se acercó, y cuando ya que lo empujaron, y ya ahí lo rodearon.
Yes, when he had close, then they pushed him, and then they surrounded him.
And you remember the blonde girl with the black suit on, is that true?
Sí, no la recuerdo muy bien, pero sí, tengo más o menos la...
I don't remember her very well.
No la recuerdo.
I don't, but I have an idea. I don't remember her.
Well, do you remember telling the police that you heard the blonde girl telling Nick, go, go, go?
Ujú. Sí. Sí.
Yes, yes,
You told the police that Nick pushed her. Is that right?
Sí.
yes.
Did you see the rest of what happened?
No.
No.
You see Nick walking back to your group, though. Is that right?
Sí, cuando venía, él traía... Sí.
Yes, when he was coming, yes, I saw.
And you described him to police as being white, pale, and scared. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
You described him as having wide or open eyes. Is that right?
Sí. Sí.
Yes.
And at one point, I think you said that Tatiana told you, don't go over there. Is that true?
Sí, mi hermana.
Yes, my sister.
So Nick, to your knowledge, what you know, Nick was by himself against that other group. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
No one, you said to the police, as far as you know, no one in your group went over to help him. Is that right?
No, nadie se movió, solamente Ariel al final que bajó y Eri a ver qué es lo que estaba pasando.
No, nobody moved. And only at the end, Ariel and Eric went over there to see what was happening.
But that was after it was over. Is that right?
Please repeat.
Sure. When Ariel and Eric went over, the incident had ended. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
So in terms of assistance or help, Mr. Miu was by himself. Nick was by himself.
Sí.
Yes.
Did it appear to you that Nick was in shock when he came back to you?
Bueno, impactado. Se veía impactado, sí, no sé. Yo digo shock porque es mi manera de expresarme, ¿ves? Pero impactado puede ser.
Yes, he looked in shock. I said in shock, or something had impacted him. Yes, in shock.
Do you remember waiting some time before your group moved on down the river after the incident?
¿Puedes repetir, por favor?
Can you repeat, please?
Do you remember there being some time that your group waited when Nick came back before going back down the river?
No recuerdo. Y cuando él regresó, ya el Neti dijo rápido, vámonos. Fue lo que dijeron.
No, I don't remember that. When Nettie came back, when he came back, Nettie said, "Let's go."
Do you remember telling the police that you waited until you were told to leave the area? Do you remember that?
Oh. No recuerdo, pero si le dije eso, debe ser sí.
No, I don't remember, but if I said that, it must be right.
You were asked by Attorney Anderson about a statement that you said that you didn't dare look at Nick. Do you remember that?
Sí.
Yes.
He wasn't threatening toward you, right?
No.
No.
He wasn't being aggressive or angry toward you, right?
No.
No.
You said the group was pretty quiet once he got back?
Sí.
Yes.
So when you said that you didn't want to look at him, it wasn't out of fear of him, right?
No.
No.
It was because everyone was in shock?
Sí, no sabíamos qué había pasado en sí y no sabíamos cómo preguntar. Bueno, sí, todo el shock, sí.
Yes.
Accidente.
We didn't know what had happened, so we were in shock. Yes, we didn't know about anything of that incident.
I'm finished here.
Mr. Anderson?
A few times, or a couple times, you said Nettie. Who's Nettie?
Ernesto. Yo le digo así.
I'm referring to Ernesto. I call him like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't hear that.
Could the answer be repeated?
I call him Nettie, but I'm referring to Ernesto.
How do you know Ernesto?
Desde de Cuba.
From the time I was in Cuba.
And friends?
Sí, somos vecinos de allá de Cuba.
Yes, we were neighbors in Cuba.
How long have you known Ernesto?
Bueno, él me vio crecer a mí, como porque dice.
He basically, we grew up together.
Close friends?
Sí.
Yes.
How long had you known Nicolae Miu?
Bueno, cuando yo llegué aquí a este país, que Nicolae Miu trabajó con Nettie.
When I came to this country, I met Nick
Miu.
He worked with Nettie.
Y lo conocí en casa de Nettie.
So I met him at Nettie's house.
So, is Nick a friend too?
Solo conocidos, nos reuníamos una vez o dos veces al año así.
We were acquaintances. We met twice a year.
Are Ernesto and Nick good friends?
Sí, pero...
Yes, they are.
Defense asked if Nick looked like he was in shock. Do you remember that?
Sí.
Yes.
What you told police was, I don't know if he was scared or worried.
Que no se veía cuando una persona está preocupada en el semblante de la persona, se ve cuando está preocupada o...
Because you see somebody when that person is worried, you can see in his face.
Obviously, you didn't know what he's thinking at that time.
No.
No.
You don't know if he's in shock or worried about what just happened?
No.
No.
No, solo la cara que se le veía blanca, pálida y con los ojos grandes, así ya más nada.
No, I just saw he was white, he was pale, his eyes wide open.
And I just want to clarify, defense asked you about the interview with the Spanish-speaking detective on August 3rd at your house.
Sí.
Yes.
That transcript I was asking you questions about, that's from that interview, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure I understand what you saw. You saw Nick, I think on cross, you said. You saw Nick push the blonde girl and someone pushed Nick. Did you see anything else besides that you remember?
No.
No.
You said in your interview you didn't dare look at Nick, and defense asked if that was because the group was in shock. Do you remember that?
Sí, estaba nervioso.
Yes, I was nervous.
You didn't say about anyone else that you didn't dare look at them, right?
No dije, solamente hablé de mí, no sé lo que piensan las demás personas.
No, I only talked about me. I didn't know what the other people were thinking.
When Nick came back, did you see any injuries on him?
No me fijé.
No, I didn't notice.
Nothing else.
Mr. Trofisi?
Sir, I'm gonna just ask you, you were just asked about what you saw. And you told police that you saw Mr. Miu get hit, correct?
¿Sí?
Yes.
You saw people surrounding him.
Yo vi el grupo de personas, no es que, no sé si lo estaban rodeando, no, solamente vi el grupo de personas.
I saw the group of people. I don't know if they were surrounding him. I saw a group of people.
You agree that you told police they were surrounding him though, right?
¿Puedes repetir, por favor?
Can you repeat that, please?
When you spoke to the Spanish interpreter, or when you spoke to the Spanish-speaking officer, you told that officer that you observed people surrounding him, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
You told that officer that those people jumped on him, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
And you told them that you saw Nick on the ground, correct?
Sí, ahí cuando lo empujaron.
Yes, when they pushed him.
Thank you, Mr. Ruiz. Leyva, you may step down.
Judge, can I approach, please?
Yes. Members of the jury, we need about 5 minutes before the next witness, so we'll excuse you for that moment. We are in recess until, let's just say, 10:45. Ms. Ruiz Leyva, please come forward. Please face the clerk. Raise your right hand. She'll administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Sí. Yes.
Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson.
Can you please state your full name?
Tatiana Ruiz Leiva. Tatiana Ruiz Leiva.
Tatiana, were you tubing with a group including Nicolai on the Apple River on July 30, 2022?
Sí. Yes.
Do you see yourself in that photo over there?
Sí. Yes.
Which one are you?
La que está con el sombrero al lado del pullover blanco. ¿Al lado de qué? Del que trae el pullover blanco.
Oh,
La que...
I'm the one wearing the hat right next to the guy in the white t-shirt.
Inés tu Emi.
Ernesto.
Emi. Al lado
Emi.
de Emi.
Oh, correction from the interpreter. And next to Emmy.
Who is Emmy?
La que está al lado mío, la blanquita chiquita. La
De-
esposa de Neti.
¿La que qué?
Oh, sí,
The one that is right next to me, the white girl who is short, and she is Neti's wife.
And do you recall a time when you were on the river that day where you saw people with bloody injuries?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see anything before that on what led to that?
No.
No.
When you spoke with police, you told them you didn't see anything, you weren't looking in that direction?
Correcto.
Correct.
After you saw people with the injuries, did you call 911?
Sí.
Yes.
Can I have exhibit 63? Tatiana, do you remember, did you have trouble speaking with the person on 911?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you hand the phone to someone else?
Sí, se lo pasé a Rosy.
Yes, I handed it to Rosie.
And then, does Rosie speak fluent English?
Rosy se lo pasa a Emi later.
Rosie handed it to Emmy later.
And just to clarify, this is Emmy,
Sí.
Yes.
the purple t-shirt.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you have any idea what happened?
No.
No.
Do you remember seeing Nick come back to the group?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you notice anything about him? Was he calm, worried, angry?
No, normal.
No.
Ya, viene del agua, normal.
Just normal. He was coming from the water. Just normal.
And what was the tube ride to the exit like? Were you guys talking? Was it quiet?
Muy callados.
Very quiet.
Do you remember Nick saying anything on the tube ride out?
No, nunca.
No, never.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Trofisi?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ma'am, do you remember being interviewed initially? Well, do you remember being interviewed by a Spanish-speaking police officer on August 3rd of 2022?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you remember where you were interviewed?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you tell me where that was?
En la casa de mi hermano.
At my brother's house.
Sí.
Okay. And that officer was asking you questions about what happened about 4 or 5 days earlier when you were on the river with Nick Miu.
Sí.
Yes.
Sí.
And
Yes.
your memory was better in August of 2022 than it is today. Is that fair?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. And you knew on July 30th of 2022 that at some point on your trip, Nick was looking for a phone. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you knew that he had left your group to go look for that phone, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
You knew that Nick was by himself, separated from your group while he was looking for that phone. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And Nick was with you guys in terms of that group, but he was also with his wife is in that picture. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
So it was Nick and his wife were part of the group that was tubing.
Sí.
Yes.
Did Nick appear to be in a good mood that day? He didn't appear to be angry or anything?
No, nunca estuvo enojado. Estaba muy bien.
No, he was never angry. He was just fine.
And when Nick is, you see that he has a snorkel and goggles, is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
And when he's looking for the phone, he goes off with those snorkel and goggles looking, right?
Sí.
Yes.
Your group is waiting for him to come back. You're over on the side of the river at that point, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you were asked by Attorney Anderson if you saw what happened, and your answer was that you didn't see anything.
No, nada.
No, nothing.
Did you hear anything?
¿Cómo que escuché algo? ¿En qué momento?
What do you mean if I heard anything? At what moment?
Did you hear anything that sounded like an altercation or a fight?
¿Pero en qué momento? ¿En el momento que ni baja o cuándo? No, no escuché nada.
But at what moment when Nick came down, or when? No, I didn't hear anything. What time are you talking about?
There's a time when Nick's gone away from you guys with his snorkel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a time that you see him come back, right? You see him come back to your tubes.
Uh-huh.
In between those two times, do you hear people yelling or fighting?
Cuando él regresa ya había pasado y sí, se oía la bulla y eso, sí.
When he came back,
Se oía la bulla.
things had happened and you could hear the loud noise, yes.
And you were asked, when Nick came back, did he say anything to you? to the group? Do you remember being asked that?
¿Recuerda que le preguntaron de que lo vio cuando ya regresó a su grupo?
Sí, pero no se habló nada, no se habló nada, no se preguntó nada.
Yes, but we didn't talk about anything. We didn't talk about anything. Nothing was asked.
Do you remember telling that Spanish-speaking police officer that when Nick came back to your group, he told you the kids jumped me?
No, no recuerdo.
No, I don't
se habló
remember.
nada, todo el mundo quiet.
Everybody was quiet.
So I just want to make sure, you don't remember telling that to the officer back on August 3rd of 2022?
Bueno. ¿Qué? No, no recuerdo.
No, I don't remember.
And you described Nick as, when he came back, he was quiet?
Sí, callado.
Yes, quiet.
Before he left to go look for this phone, was your group talking and laughing and having fun?
Sí.
Yes.
And when he came back to your group, the talking, the fun, that all stopped. Is that right?
Sí, todo se acabó.
Yes, everything was over.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
Mr. Anderson?
You spoke with a Spanish-speaking detective at your house some days after the incident, right?
Sí.
Yes.
You also spoke to an officer right after you got out of the river?
Al salir del río nos pararon allí, pero no recuerdo. Mucho policía, no sé.
When we got out of the river, they stopped us there, but I don't remember. There were a lot of police presence. There was a lot of police presence.
The officers that when you got to the exit didn't speak Spanish, right?
No.
No.
No hablamos, no se habló, yo no hablé.
No, we didn't say anything. Nothing was said. I didn't say anything.
You told an officer there you heard boys yelling, "Help, help, help." Do you remember that? You said that in English?
Ah, no, eso sí.
Oh, yeah, that
Sí.
I did, yes.
Do you remember when you heard the boys yelling, "Help, help, help"?
Sí, una chica.
Yes, a girl.
Oh, was it a girl who was injured?
Sí, tenía su mano en el estómago.
Yes, she had her hand on her stomach.
Do you know why you said boys?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you
for
know
the
why you
interpreter?
said boys were yelling for help?
Please, could you please repeat the question?
Do you know why you said boys were yelling for help?
Sí,
Yes.
Why?
yo iba bajando y ellos estaban gritando, help, help, y vi el grupo de chicos allí, un grupo, pero no estaba yo cerca de ellos. Y ahí fue cuando yo mismo me retiro porque como que fue lejos y llamé a la policía.
I was
La chica,
getting
pero no
off,
que-
and there was a group there, and the kids there were yelling, help, help, but I was kind of far away, but that's when I called the police.
When you heard the boys yelling for help, was that before Nick came back to your group?
Sí.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Mr. Truffles?
Ma'am, do you know that people were injured on the river, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And one of the people that was yelling or asking for help was this girl that had been injured. Is that right?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know now that there were some males that had been injured?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know when you heard help, if that was after those males had been injured?
Sí.
Yes.
So if I'm hearing you right, those males are injured, then they're yelling, or somebody is yelling for help. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz-Leyva. You may step down. You are excused. Who is the next witness? Yes. You can do it now while I'm making this announcement. All right, members of the jury, you may remember at the beginning of the trial, I explained that the state will proceed first because the state has the burden of proof. Once the state finishes its evidence, then the defense may, if they choose, present evidence of their own. Sometimes we deviate from that rule to accommodate a witness. Today, we're making an accommodation because we have interpreters present. So rather than waiting until some other day, we're going to take those witnesses today, even though they're being called by attorneys for Mr. Miu. Mr. Nelson, who will be the witness?
Ernesto. Apologize. Torres.
Ernesto Torres. See, Mr. Torres? Right here. Please raise your right hand. She will administer the oath. Go ahead.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
See.
Yes.
Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Nelson.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Can you tell all of us your name, please?
Ernesto Torres Chagas.
Ernesto Torres Chávez.
Chagas.
Chagas.
Correcto.
Can I call you by Ernesto?
Sí.
Ernesto, do you know
Yes.
this man over here?
Sí.
Yes.
Who's this?
Nick.
Nick.
Nick who?
Nick Miu.
Nick Miu.
How long have you known Nick Miu?
Aproximadamente más de 10 años.
Approximately, well, it's over 10 years.
Did you work with Nick?
Sí,
Yes.
Are you married?
sí.
Yes.
Who's your wife?
Emi.
Emmy.
Up here, is this a picture of you and Amy?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any family in here other than that?
Mi hermana está a la derecha.
My sister on the right side,
Rosy.
Rosie.
That's your sister.
Yeah. Sí.
Anybody else family?
No, familia no, todos amigos.
Not relatives, all friends.
Did your wife Amy work with Nick as well?
Sí.
Yes.
And when you said you're friends with Nick, obviously sometimes when we're adults we have lots of different friends. How close would you consider Nick as a friend?
He's my best friend.
You're at his house, he's at your house.
Please, for the interpreter, could you please repeat the question?
You've been to his house, he's been to your house, you guys hang out together.
Sí.
Yes.
Would you consider Nick to be kind of a handyman?
Sí.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Porque él siempre está arreglando cosas en su casa o cuando va a la casa de alguien necesita ayuda.
Because
Él está ahí para ayudar.
he's always there helping things in his house, or he goes to other houses to help fix things.
Have you ever seen him use tools to fix things?
Sí.
Yes.
Have you ever seen him with a pocket knife?
Sí.
Yes.
Have you ever seen him use the pocket knife as a tool to fix things?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you tell me about some of those things that you've seen him do with the pocket knife to fix things?
Lo he visto arreglar cosas en su casa o en mi casa cuando compré mi piscina. Él fue uno de los compañeros que me ayudó.
I've seen him fix things
Usaba
in
su
his
navaja
house
para cortar cosas.
and my house. When I bought my pool, he helped me fix the pool and in general fixing things. And he used the knife. Sorry.
Want to ask you some questions about the trip down the river on July 30th of 2022, okay?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that a trip you and your wife have made before?
Sí.
Yes.
Prior to leaving your house that day, did you have a call? Did you call Nick Miu that day and ask him to bring anything?
Sí.
Yes.
What did you ask Nick to bring?
Que llevara su navaja.
To bring his knife.
Why did you ask Nick to bring? And when you say start over. His knife, is that a pocket knife or some other knife?
No, la de paque.
No, the packet.
And why did you ask Nick to bring his pocket knife?
Porque la vez anterior que fuimos al río, a la hora de salir, no teníamos con qué cortar las sogas y tuvimos que arrastrar todas las balsas juntas y era muy pesado.
Because the last time we went to the river, we had all the inner tubes tied together and we couldn't cut the cords, so we had to pull them out of the river all together and bring them up to the place where we had to leave them.
So you wanted him to have the knife to help cut the cords at the end of the trip.
Y al principio también cuando amarramos todos los balsas.
And at the beginning too, it's useful to tie them up.
Why didn't you just bring your own pocket knife?
Yo no tengo.
I don't have one.
And if who's the guy that tends to have a pocket knife in your group of friends?
Nick.
Nick.
Is he the handyman amongst your group of friends?
Sí.
Yes.
Is he? You said he had that pocket knife with him sometimes when he's come over to your house, right?
Sí.
Yes.
That day when you called him and asked him to bring the knife, were you worried about Nick Miu having a knife?
No razón ninguna.
No, there is no reason for that.
You've known him for a long time.
Sí.
Yes.
Seen him in your home, seen him in his home,
Sí.
Yes.
seen him at work, worked with him.
Sí.
Yes.
Fair to say you've had opportunities to observe his character. Would you agree with that?
Sí.
Yes.
Would you agree Nick Miu has a character for peacefulness?
Sí.
Yes.
Were you worried at all about Nick Miu bringing a knife based upon what you knew about Nick?
Overruled. You can answer the question.
Repite la pregunta.
Repeat the question, please.
Were you worried at all about Nick Miu having a knife out on the river?
No.
No.
So now I'm going to ask you some more questions about the river, okay? Being on the river.
Sí.
Yes.
When you were on the river, was Nick there with his wife?
Sí.
Yes.
You see the picture there? I think it's 26. Sorry. 12A. Do you see that big photo?
Sí.
Yes.
Nick in that photo?
Sí.
Yes.
Nick's wearing a shirt and sunglasses in that photo. Is that what he looked like on July 30th?
Sí.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been marked as Exhibit 110. Do you see this picture? You see the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see Nick is wearing a hat in this picture?
Sí.
Yes.
This picture, Nick doesn't have it. In 12A, he doesn't have a hat, but on 110, he does have a hat. Do you agree?
Sí.
Yes.
There are times that day that you saw Nick wearing a hat?
Sí.
Yes.
Were there times that day where you saw that Nick had taken the hat off?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see Nick with some goggles and a snorkel?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see him use that goggles and snorkel prior to Ariel losing his phone?
Sí.
Yes.
Would he use the snorkel to swim in the river?
Sí.
Yes.
When he used the snorkel to swim in the river, do you remember, was he wearing his hat?
No.
No.
Was he, when he had on his goggles and snorkel, was he wearing sunglasses?
Repite la pregunta.
Can you repeat the question?
When he went swimming in the river using the goggles and snorkel, did he also wear his sunglasses?
No.
No.
Was there a time when you were on the river that you saw, or that you came to learn Ariel had lost his phone?
Sí.
Yes.
When he lost his phone, did you guys stop and have a discussion?
No, Rhyley, en sí no paramos. Estuvimos conversando y él dijo que iba a buscar el teléfono. Yo le dije que se olvidara el teléfono, que se subiera a la balsa, y él dijo, no, I go to find her. O sea, que lo voy a encontrar.
No, we didn't stop. We didn't stop. We continued. Then he said, I'm going to look for the phone. And I said, no, don't go. And then he said, I'm going to go look for it.
The he you're referring to is Nick Miu?
Correcto.
Did you eventually?
Correct.
Did you eventually see Nick go look for the phone with his goggles and snorkel?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you see him go in the same direction that the water was flowing?
Sí.
Yes.
Can we call that downriver?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know why he went downriver to look for the phone?
Bueno, pienso que él se fue río abajo porque el teléfono estaba como una bolsa de eso que se usan para proteger en el agua.
I think that he went down the river because the telephone was inside a pouch, those bags that you use to put them in the water.
On Exhibit 12A, that photo, do you see some people have lanyards with, looks like maybe a phone inside of them?
Sí.
Yes.
You even see Ariel and Gilma right there, same?
Yeah.
Is that,
Yeah.
is that what you're describing?
Sí.
Yes.
Let's just slow down and wait for the interpretation.
I was going too fast. I'm going to slow down. When Nick then left to go look for the phone, were you watching him?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you look for the phone at all?
No.
No.
Were you sitting in the tube, standing near the tube, or doing something else?
Sentado.
Sitting down.
Did you eventually see Nick and another group of people or multiple people interacting in some way?
No.
No.
Did you eventually learn that Nick was interacting or people were interacting with Nick?
Sí.
Yes.
How did you learn that? From something you saw or from something you heard?
Su esposa dijo, Nick está en problema.
His wife said Nick is in trouble.
When you heard, did that surprise you?
Sí.
Yes.
You know Nick, you must know his wife Sandy.
Sí.
Yes.
You guys must hang out together as a couple often. Or as couples.
Sí.
Yes.
Had you ever heard Sandy express concern about the safety of her husband like she did on that day?
Overruled.
En ese día, no entiendo la pregunta.
During that day, I don't understand the question.
Sure. When Sandy said Nick's in trouble, you took that as Sandy expressing concern for Nick's safety.
Sí.
Yes.
Had you ever prior to that day or any time before that, heard Sandy express concerns about her husband's safety when you were around?
Nunca.
Never.
That must have surprised you then on that day when you heard that.
Sí.
Yes.
What'd you do?
So I looking down where people was, and I saw Nick in the water, and I stand up and I tried to get her.
When you saw Nick in the water, did he appear to be snorkeling and looking for the phone, or was something else going on?
No, estaba en el agua y había mucha gente a su alrededor.
No, he was in the water and there were people around him.
How many people?
Número no puedo decirle, pero sí eran bastantes. Pueden haber sido más de 10, 15 personas. No.
I can't tell you the number, but there were many, maybe 10, 15, I don't know.
When you made that observation, were you worried for Nick's safety?
Sí.
Yes.
What did it look like that group of 10 or 15 people was doing to Nick?
So, estaban gritándole y cuando él estaba en el agua, alguien le estaba dando.
They were shouting at him. And when he was in the water, somebody was yelling at him.
Did you ever see anybody have physical contact with Nick?
Bueno, en el momento en que yo vi que él estaba en el agua, alguien le pegó. Esa fue la primera vez que...
At that moment, when I saw Nick in the water, I saw somebody hitting him. That's the only thing I saw.
After you saw him in the water, did you keep watching?
So, yo traté de llegar hasta allá, pero en el medio del río perdí mis zapatos.
Well, I tried to get over there, but I lost my shoes in the middle of the river.
So on your way, were you able to continue to watch, or did you need to tend to your footwear?
No. Estaba tratando de caminar, pero no podía. Miraba para el grupo, pero en otro momento no.
I tried to keep walking, but I couldn't. And I did watch the group at some point, but not always.
Did you see anybody being violent to or at Nick?
When they was in the water, estuvo en el agua, no. Después que vi que estaba en el agua, no volví a ver nada.
After I saw him in the water, I didn't see anything else.
And it sounds like you don't know how he got down into the water. When you first looked, he was already in the water.
Correcto.
Correct.
At some point, did you see Nick walking back to you in the group?
Después que yo vi que él estaba parado, que yo le dije que viniera hacia esta parte de acá, él regresó.
After I saw him standing there, I told him to come back, and then he came back.
And so, if we're on the river, you're Ernesto, and I'm standing where Nick is, roughly. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The river flows that way to downstream. Does that make sense?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you see Nick walking somewhere in your direction, not exactly this angle, but somewhere towards you, correct?
Correcto.
Correct.
And What had happened is behind Nick by the time he's walking to you. Agreed?
Antes,
You mean before?
repite la pregunta, por favor.
Repeat the question, please.
After you saw Nick down in the water, eventually you see Nick coming back to you because you called him back.
Sí.
I want to
Yes.
ask you about that moment in time.
No entiendo la pregunta.
I don't understand your question.
I want to ask you about what you saw when Nick was walking back to you when you called him back.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
que yo le dije que regresara.
That I told him to come back.
I want to ask about that moment in time, what you saw.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
When Nick's walking back towards you, is he looking at you in the group or is he walking backwards looking behind him?
No estoy seguro.
I'm not sure.
You're looking in Nick's direction, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
When you look in that direction, do you see somebody else other than Nick approaching you in your group, or you focus your, do you see somebody else that draws your attention?
Sí.
Yes.
What do you see?
So, cuando el Ni venía por esta parte hacia la izquierda mía, alguien trató de acercarse y me hizo así con el dedo.
When Nick was coming over on my left side, someone else tried to approach and pointed at me with the finger.
When you say the finger, that might have different connotations. So do you mean like a pointing finger or something else?
Dedo que no apuntaba.
Pointing with the finger.
And when they're pointing with their finger, is Nick near you?
Iba pasando.
He was going by me.
By me.
So if I'm Nick in that scenario, Nick is walking this way, you're pointing in that direction.
Yo estoy mirando hacia donde está la persona y ahí tienen. Stay there, stay there, stay there.
I'm looking at the person who was there and say, stay there, stay there.
Can you describe that person?
No tengo ni idea.
I have no idea.
Why were you telling that person, stay there, stay there, stay there?
Porque la persona que estaba apuntando hacia mí o hacia mí, no sé si era hacia mí o hacia él, estaba yelling and he tried to walk.
Because the person pointing,
hacia mí.
because there was a person there pointing, I don't know if they were pointing at me or at Nick, but they were approaching.
Did you think it was safe for that person to come towards you and Nick?
Bueno, yo lo que traté de que esa persona no se acercara a nosotros porque quizás el problema iba a seguir si venían hacia el grupo nuestro.
I tried to prevent that person from approaching us because I thought maybe the problem was going to continue.
You thought the solution to that problem was to keep Nick separated from the group that was pointing at you.
Sí.
Yes.
When Nick, I'm going to now ask you about when Nick's back at the tubes with you after you pointed at this person, okay? Make sense?
Sí.
In that time, what did Nick look like?
Y se lucía muy preocupado y estaba como blanco.
He looked worried and he was pale.
I think there was a time you also used the word he looked white or he looked wide-eyed.
Sí,
Yes.
Did you see those things when you looked at Nick?
sí,
Yes.
You said you've known Nick for a long time. He's your best friend. You ever seen him scared before?
nunca.
Never.
Did he look like he was scared then?
Sí,
Yes.
Have you seen people when they're in shock before?
sí,
Yes.
Did he look to you like he was in fear and in shock?
sí,
Yes.
Were you worried about him?
sí,
Yes.
And is that why you were pointing at other people because you wanted to protect your friend and keep him there because you were worried about him?
sí.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say you didn't really know what had happened down there at that other group? You just didn't want anything more to happen?
No. Sí, sí, correcto, sí.
No,
No
I
sabía
mean-
qué había pasado.
I mean, yes, it's correct because I knew what had happened. I didn't know what had happened. So.
Right.
Did Nick stay then with the group at the tubes? Did he stay there that whole time?
Sí,
Did he ever ask you or make any motions to, or indicate in any way, tell you in any way that he wanted to go onto the shore or on the woods or sit anywhere other than in his tube?
no.
No.
What did you see him do while you guys were waiting there?
Solamente se sentó en la balsa y más nada, ni siquiera.
The inner tube, and he didn't say anything. No words.
Did your impressions about him being in fear and shock, did that change over that time, or did he continue to look like he was in fear and shock?
No, él seguía en shock.
No, he continued in shock.
How long did you guys in your group wait there at the tubes before you eventually floated down the river?
Yo diría como 30 minutos o 35, no sé exactamente, pero fue un buen rato.
I would say 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I don't know exactly. It was a while.
Why did you eventually go back down, float down the river? Did anything prompt you?
So, yo no estoy seguro si fue la policía o alguien que estaba en el grupo donde estaba todo el mundo allá. Hicieron así para que como que el tráfico siguiera, la gente siguiera bajando.
I don't know
Y
if
ahí
it
todo el
was.
mundo empezó a bajar.
Maybe the interpreter needs the witness to repeat his answer.
Ok, no estoy seguro si fue la policía o alguien que estaba parado donde sucedió el problema. Hicieron así como que para que la gente ya podía seguir.
I don't know. I'm not sure if it was the police or if it was something else, somebody else who was trying to guide people, and they were telling people to move, and to continue.
And based upon what you saw then, you kind of helped your group say, we got to go, and you moved down the river.
Correcto.
Correct.
During the float down the river, it continued to be quiet?
Completamente. Que yo recuerde, nadie habló hasta que llegamos a la salida.
Totally quiet. As far as I remember, nobody talked until we got to the exit.
What happened at the exit?
So, recuerdo que cuando llegamos a la salida, creo que había, no sé si era un policía vestido de verde o alguien que estaba cortando las sogas de la balsa.
When we got to the exit, I don't know if it was a policeman who was there. Somebody was cutting the ropes.
Pasamos el puente.
Then we passed the bridge.
Cuando íbamos pasando allí vimos que habían policías.
When we passed the bridge, we noticed there were policemen there.
Y cuando íbamos pasando, ellos estaban como aquí así. Íbamos pasando por aquí. Vieron el grupo de nosotros.
They were over here, and we were on the other over here. And then they approached the group of where we were.
And when they approached the group, did you see them somehow indicate or say something to Nick?
¿Quién?
Who?
¿Los policías?
The policemen?
Bueno, en el momento que nos pararon ahí, yo no sé porque eran muchos policías que estaban ahí, pero después de eso yo vi que vino un policía y le dijo, tienes que venir con nosotros.
Right at that moment when they stopped us, I don't know if they were policemen or not, but then one of them came and he said he has to come with us.
The policeman asked Nick to come with them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you then see Nick go with the police?
Sí.
Yes.
Caminó normal.
He was walking normally with them.
Were you surprised at that point?
Sí, nosotros estábamos en shock. ¿Por qué lo detenían a él? Porque realmente nosotros no sabíamos qué había pasado.
We were in shock because we didn't know why they were detaining him. We didn't know what had happened.
And you couldn't believe your friend who's peaceful would have done anything to harm someone.
Nunca.
Never.
That's all. Mr. Anderson, do you have any questions?
You've tubed on the Apple River several times, including with Nick, right?
Nosotros sí, pero con él la segunda vez.
We have, but it was the second time with him.
And the Apple River, it's kind of a party scene, agreed? The Apple River, it's kind of a party scene. Lots of people on the river drink.
Sí.
Yes.
Your group was drinking.
Sí.
Yes.
Probably most of the groups you saw on the river were drinking.
Sí.
Yes.
Were you intoxicated?
No.
No.
How many drinks did you have? Do you know?
Probably like 4 beer.
Probably like 4 beer.
And you said you told Nick not to go look for the phone, but he insisted, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And Ariel wasn't worried about his phone because he had insurance, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And after Sandy said Nick's in trouble, you started walking towards Nick, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you got pretty close to where Nick was, right?
No.
No.
You got a lot closer than Sergio did, right?
No sé, porque en ese momento yo no sé dónde estuvo Sergio.
No.
Pero sí no estaba cerca.
I don't know because I don't know where Sergio was at that moment, but yes, I was close.
And you saw Nick in the water, you said, right?
Sí.
Yes.
You never saw Nick do anything to anyone?
No.
No.
You said you were concerned for Nick's safety, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
You walked over there, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And you told police, I didn't see, we don't know what happened because Nick didn't tell us anything, right?
Correcto,
Correct.
And you said that multiple times.
correcto.
Correct.
You told police multiple times that Nick ran away.
Bueno, en lo que se refiere usted huyendo, corriendo, me refiero a cuando él salió del grupo y vino hacia este lado para nosotros.
When you're referring to running or running away, I'm referring to when he left that group and approached our group.
When he
on this side.
When he went back to your group, you said he ran back to your group, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
You told that to police multiple times.
Correcto.
Correct.
So you remember him running back to your group.
O sea, no diría yo corriendo, simplemente venía hacia el grupo, caminando a prisa, pero no, I don't know. Venía de regreso hacia el grupo.
I mean, he didn't come running. He was walking fast. He was just coming back.
He actually just walked casually back.
Objection.
Right?
What's the objection?
Vague as to the use of the word casual.
It's overruled. He can answer if he understands. Do you understand the question?
No, no entiendo la pregunta.
No, I don't understand the question.
You need to rephrase that.
He wasn't walking fast back to your group, was he?
Él no iba caminando.
Él venía caminando.
He was walking.
But not quickly, right?
No.
No.
And then after he walked past you, you told police the groups were fighting each other.
Bueno, yo no puedo decir exactamente si estaban peleando, simplemente como estaban todo el mundo gritando y eso, no sabemos exactamente lo que estaba pasando ahí.
I couldn't say they were fighting. Everybody was shouting. We didn't know what was happening there.
But what you told police was that the groups were fighting each other after Nicolai left.
No recuerdo en estos momentos, pero puede, desde mi punto de vista, a ver las discusiones que tenían allí, puede ser que yo pensé, o puede ser que estaban peleando, o puede ser no.
I don't remember right now, but in my opinion, because of the way they were talking and they were loud, they may have been fighting.
You didn't see any injuries on Nick when he walked back, right?
No.
And your group stayed at the sandbar for a while because Eric was helping with the victims, right?
No sé.
I don't know.
Was Nick helping with the victims? Was Eric helping with the injured?
No sé.
I don't know.
Eventually, when you did leave, it was because Nick said, let's go, right?
Repite la pregunta.
Can you repeat the question?
Eventually, when you did leave, it was because Nicolae Miu said, let's go.
No.
When you got to the exit, there was a lot of police there, you said, right?
Sí.
Yes.
There wasn't any belligerent people approaching you or anything like that?
No podría decirle si personas cercanas o no, simplemente cuando va saliendo del río sabe que van personas adelante y van personas detrás. No sé a qué se refiere usted.
I couldn't tell you if there were people approaching us or getting closer to us There were people in front. There were people behind us. I don't know what you're referring to.
You didn't get threatened or anything when you got out to the exit, right?
No.
No.
When Nick came back to your group, he told you they took my knife, right?
I don't remember.
You told
I
police.
don't remember.
You told police multiple times they took Nick's knife out of his pocket, right?
Si se lo dije a la policía, está, pero no recuerdo.
If he gave it to the policeman, I don't know. Interpret needs to correct. If I told that to the policeman, maybe, but I don't remember.
You don't remember if Nick told you they took my knife?
I don't remember exactly. She tell me something.
So Nick
And
was,
I don't remember word because when we sit down in the tour, we not talking nothing.
you saw Nick among the group of people when you were walking up, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
You could see how the group was acting. You could hear them, right?
Sí, estaban gritando toda la gente. Yelling people.
Yes, they were yelling.
And when police talked to you about it, you didn't believe Nick stabbed anyone, right?
Nunca.
Never.
And you said, he's a big guy. He was in the army. He doesn't need a knife to defend himself, right?
Sí.
Yes.
And he was in the army in Romania before coming to the U.S., right?
I'm not sure, o sea, no estoy seguro, pero si dije eso porque en los países comunistas el servicio militar es mandatorio. So, él vive en un país comunista, yo vivo en un país comunista, al servicio nos mandan obligados.
I'm not sure if I said that, but I know that he comes from a communist country and the military service is mandatory. I come from a communist country too, where you have the mandatory military service.
And you answered questions about Nick had his knife because he used it to cut ropes. He was going to use it at the beginning and going to use it at the end. Do you remember that?
Correcto.
Correct.
But you told police that you thought Nicolai put his knife back in the vehicle before floating down the river, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you also told police you never saw Nicolai with a knife on the river, right?
No. Bueno, cuando hablamos del río, solamente lo vi con la navaja al principio cuando se amarraron todos los tubos.
No, well, when we were in the river, I only saw him with the knife at the beginning when we were tying the tubes.
When Nicolai got back to the tubes after he walked past you, did you walk back to the tubes?
I'm sorry, please, the interpreter needs It's a repetition.
Nicolai walked past you, going back to the tubes, right?
¿Sí?
Yes.
And he didn't say anything to you then.
I don't remember because I pay attention to the guy punch us and I say, stay there, stay there. I don't want it coming to us.
Nicolai didn't ask for your help or anything.
¿Ayuda cuándo?
Help when?
Ever. He never yelled for help, right?
Yo no vi nada hasta que la señora me dijo que estaba en problema.
I didn't see anything until the lady told me that he was in trouble.
You also didn't hear him yell anything, right?
No.
No.
When Nicolai got back to the tubes, did you walk back to the tubes too?
Sí.
Yes.
No one followed you, right?
No, en el momento que él pasó al lado mío que iba para la balsa, yo estuve quizás unos segundos parado ahí con la persona que nos estaba apuntando y yo le decía, stay there, stay there, stay there. Hasta después de eso, yo me regresé a la balsa.
When Nick, he was walking by me on this side, I stayed standing there and I told the guy who was approaching us, stay there and pointing. And then I followed Nick.
You didn't answer my question. I asked, when you walked away, nobody followed you, right?
Que yo recuerde, no.
As far as I remember, no.
Si estoy de espalda no puedo ver.
If I'm walking, I can't see from my back. I can see in the back.
And once Nicolai got back to the tubes, he put on his shirt, right?
Correcto.
Correct.
And you didn't see what happened before Nick. You saw Nick in the water, right?
No.
No.
So you don't know if he did something violent before you saw him in the water.
No.
No.
You said Nick appeared very scared, worried after he walked back, right?
Sí, es normal.
Yes, it's normal.
And you'd never seen him scared like that before, right?
Nunca.
Never.
And he wasn't smiling, right?
¿Cómo?
He wasn't
What do you mean?
smiling.
No.
No.
That would be, you wouldn't expect him to be smiling if he was afraid, right?
¿Quién se va a reír en medio de un problema?
Who's going to smile when you're in the middle of trouble?
I want to show you some frames.
Why don't we break here for lunch, since there seems to be more questions. Members of the jury, we're going to break until 1 o'clock. Same reminders, no independent investigation, no research. Do not speak with anyone, including yourselves, about this case. We will resume at 1 p.m. We are in recess until 1.